You know how people are always saying, oh, culture fit. We don't do culture fit. It's too open to bias and blah, 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 blah. Here's what Libby says. She said, what's the worst kind of employee? It's a high performer with a terrible attitude. They poison the environment for years because they're so good at what they do. It's hard to justify removing them, but watch things improve once they go. Okay. So you want to hire somebody who is going to be fun or pleasant to work with, even if they aren't at number 10 or 9 in their technical field. I think that's fair. But if you say that, people are going to accuse you of just bias. Am I right about that? Anybody agree with me? Here's what happened. My new client needs to fill a crucial role. I send in 3 candidates. And who's the one that he likes the best? The one I consider to be the weakest candidate, right? Why does he want that candidate? Because they bonded over rugby. They bonded over rugby. And Gavin says that was my own fault. I failed to understand the culture. I didn't know the hiring manager was crazy about rugby. Now, I don't know if there was any way for Gavin to know about rugby. And I don't know. He didn't say, look, I tried to talk my client out of going with this guy. But the hiring manager was really enthusiastic about rugby. Is that a terrible hire? What would you do if that was with your guy?
So if they have the basic skills, right? So if you let's call it an engineer, and they all have the Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, 5 years experience, they're PE, and they've done the similar projects, right? But one maybe has 10 years experience, the other guy's got an SE, right? If they're hiring the guy that fits in better for their company, even though he's the least of the 3, that's a good hire because he's going to last longer. He's going to have a more want to be there, right? He's going to want to be at that company versus the other 2 who maybe don't. I've said this 100 times. You've heard me say this, that my client hires on culture first and experience second, right? I could bring them a guy from a direct competitor who's got 10 years experience and can knock it out of the park and can sit down and do work immediately, but he's got a shitty non-company type attitude that they're looking for, and bring him a young EIT who has no experience in their industry, who's a perfect fit culture. They're going to hire the young EIT over the direct competitor 99% of the time.